One of the biggest misconceptions about OCD is just the nature of OCD. You hear a lot of people making jokes about OCD or using it lightly. When something's not tidy or something's out of place, people go, oh, this is triggering my OCD. Oh, that was so OCD of me. That's not how you use the term OCD. OCD isn't needing to have things neat and tidy. OCD is having intrusive thoughts into your head that you cannot get rid of unless you perform a compulsion to get rid of the thoughts.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions of anxiety is that people will get over it or that things will come right. And I think that keeps people from asking for help.
Back in 1979, a psychiatrist that my father sent me to, he said, I think it sounds like something you'll get over. I thought, well, great, yeah. And I walked out.
People don't understand the levels of anxiety, and so they think, oh, you're just worried, or oh, you're just nervous. And I don't think they quite understand the physiological and emotional reactions that happen from it and the impact that it can have, especially when they know you or see you as someone that's really different.
There's anxiety as a whole is something that you live with and you can't get rid of, and there's feeling anxious. And I think people half the time are like, well, just don't feel that way, or don't be anxious about it, or get over it kind of thing. And it's really not that simple. Like, there's been so many times where I'm like, I don't want to feel like this. Like, this is the most simplest thing I have to do, but I feel like I'm going to throw up. I want to cry.
I think people often downplay it to be it's not as bad as it actually is, and then when they might get into that certain state once life, they'll understand it was actually as bad as what one was making it out to be.
As you can imagine, a lot of people carry this with them because a lot of the times you see no outward signs of it. It's not like having a cut or they've broken their arm. You can see there's something wrong. It's a real paralyzing fear that something bad will happen. But when you look at them, they might just smile, or they might have a facade in front of their face.
You cannot tell who has anxiety. You honestly can't. And I think so many times the people that we think are the most confident, they're usually the ones that are shriveling up inside, I think. I think confidence can sometimes be a front.
Different cultures have different ways that they perceive anxiety. Some cultures, mental health is just not something that you talk about, and it's something that should be kept private and sort of, a shameful secret, I guess, that we just have to pretend that we're fine and move on.
Back in Malaysia and back in 1980s, there's not a lot of knowledge or understanding what mental illness is. My parents are quite superstitious, so they thought, they will consult with like Chinese priests just to see, is there something wrong? So the belief was just that I was low in energy, so could be that some evil spirit were attacking me.
I think it's very easy for cultures to think, well, what's wrong with you?
Cultural implications can also be, if I disclose that I'm not well, then, it will bring shame to my family, because our roles are so embedded in our obligation, bringing honor to our family, being good role models, positive role models to our cousins, our younger siblings. How can we disclose that we're not doing well?
It's quite hard because there is that judgment that is passed, maybe even silently. It might be in a look. It might be in just the way things are said to you. For me in particular, in a Fijian culture, people might think you're weak.
As a Tongan, I haven't had this conversation with my parents, which is crazy. But I tend to not have this kōrero with my parents because I, as a fluent speaker in Tongan, I cannot find the words.
Sometimes language is quite a powerful tool. I experience what I experienced, but I never able to articulate it. Not until I read the psychological textbook, then I realized that, oh, this is what I have.
I have seen that culture does play a part in how accepted any form of mental illness is, anxiety included. I think that there's a tendency for people to just go, oh, harden up, toughen up. You'll be right. What have you got to worry about? But I do see a softening. I do see more understanding coming. It's just taking a little bit of time.
Everyone can suffer from it at any point in life. Knowing and understanding it, being able to identify what it is, will help you better prepare for when it does happen.